is Brenda Pierce. I'm here with one of my fabulous contributing authors to the Secret Child Life After Loss, here on the Week of Kindness and Gratitude Summit and Gift Giveaway. And I'm still a little froggy, so please apologize for that. And with me is Jill Hill Kraft Thompson. She wrote the foreword for our book, and her story is outstanding in that she has joined the club of the bereaved parents group because she lost 5 of her beloved family members in a car accident in Italy. And because of that, and that amazing overcoming of all of the struggles and grief and everything else that she's gone through, she deserved to write the foreword for our book. And so with that, welcome to the summit, Jill.
Thanks, Brenda. It's great to be here.
It's fabulous to have you here and to be on the other side of our book, which actually launched as a bestseller in 5 categories.
Yeah,
so
congrats.
Congratulations. You are a best-selling author, and this is a huge, huge moment for us, for sure.
For sure. Congrats to all of us, for sure.
Yes, Jill, you wrote about your significant experience, and writing for you was probably one of the components that helped you to get through the whole process, right?
For sure. I had been writing years before the accident actually happened, and it was just a very therapeutic way for me to get through not only the struggles of life, but you can also write about the joys. And so I have a lot of experiences in my book that I had written about from my childhood on to the time with my family at that time.
Yes, and writing is such a personal experience, and you wrote an amazing tribute to your life and to your family. And with that, I really would like you to tell everybody about your book and how they can get a hold of it.
Well, I have it right here. It's called Finding Jill. I'm trying to get the sun not to shine on it. How I Rebuilt My Life After Losing the 5 People I Loved Most. And it shows I guess over here, my mother, my husband Bart, my son Benjamin, my son Samuel, and my niece, who is also my goddaughter, Sarah. And then over here is a very old, it's a little bit older because Franklin is now taller than me, but my husband, John, and Franklin, he is now 14, and myself. So it shows obviously what I went through and how I was able to bring my current family, bring my family that I had lost into my current life. So.
And that's a beautiful, beautiful melding. You know, you honor the past and you honor the future, and have built and rebuilt a beautiful life. And you prove that life does go on. That even though at the time when all you want to do is die and be with them, that every breath is a gift and a legacy, isn't it?
It is. I don't know that I felt that way in the beginning. I definitely had no desire to be living after my family had passed. And it took a lot of soul searching for myself and what kind of life I wanted to have after losing everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And that's an experience that nobody wishes on anybody at any phase. But for sometimes sure, life has a way, and if God brings you to it, he can bring you through it, can't he?
For sure. I think at times you feel like God isn't supporting or he isn't there, but what he's doing is just giving you the tools to get through the next moment. It doesn't have to be an entire day that you're trying to think about. It could just be, okay, what am I going to do for this next 5 minutes, or what am I going to do for the next half hour? And God stands beside you and helps you figure out that new life that you're going to end up eventually getting to.
Exactly. And one of the things that comes through in your process is that you actually related music to different parts of your life. And you
Yeah.
also only allowed yourself a period in the day where you allowed yourself to grieve as well. So those are two really unique concepts.
I feel that it was so overwhelming to lose everyone. Uh, for me, I was so overwhelmed and I couldn't organize my thoughts. And so once I got to a place, and it was probably almost a year after the accident that I was to this place, and um, everybody's process is at a different time, and so you cannot compare yourself to anybody else. You have to do it on your time. Give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling at that moment, and not put pressure on yourself to feel as I think a lot of people try to look and say, well, that person had it so bad, I should be doing better. But the fact is we all have to give ourselves permission to feel what we feel. So in the beginning, I was so overwhelmed, and of course, writing helped me a little bit. But the journaling through music, what I did was put a song that made me remember a certain person, and then I developed my relationship with that person through a CD of mini songs. So I think my first journal through music was with Bart, and our first song was one that we had listened to. It was a Joe Jackson, and we had listened to it on our first date. And then I went through the CD of not only our developing relationship, but also the time that we lived in Italy and our accident, and then the recovery that I had felt at that time.
That's awesome. So many people use the gold standard of Dr. Kubler-Ross and the 4 stages of grief, and a year you're done. But you're never done when you hit this journey. You just don't know where the journey is going to take you, but it's a directly personal journey. And I love the fact that you were able to put that music together, because music really does transcend us back into time and feelings, and keeps people alive, and even memories, whether we have loved ones who for whatever reason are in our life or not in our life anymore. Music really does transcend it all. So that's great. That's a beautiful gift that you're sharing with so many people who may be looking for your inspiration. One of the things that really shone through in your book and in your journey, and we've had previous conversations, is kindness, and the kindness of the people that were around you, supporting you. I wonder if you could share some of that with us today.
I think not only, obviously, it was overwhelming for me to start a new life without the most important people of my life. And I was not the only one that felt that way. My siblings and my close friends also had the same losses, just different relationships. And so the fact that we could all come together and figure out a way to join our new unwanted life, for sure. And we had to come up with new relationships and develop. I think of a really close friend of mine that she was with me from the time my boys were born. And so we had to figure out this new life that wasn't about our children growing up together. It was about our friendship. And we were able to do that. I have one particular friend that she gave me no judgment on what I was feeling or why I was feeling that. And there were some overwhelming moments that I just couldn't get a handle on, and she gave me permission to feel the way I was feeling instead of expecting me to be the old Jill that I was.
That is so good. Is that, yes, you're never the same after an experience like this. There's just no way. And to have that unconditional kindness and love and support from friends and family, accepting you as you change and you metamorphosize into this new version of Jill. and this new life that eventually evolved for you in such a beautiful way. It's the kindness from the heart of, but we mostly have to be kind to ourselves, don't we?
We do. We have to also, I think, give yourself permission is the thing that keeps replaying in my head these past. It was last week, it was my oldest son, Benjamin's. He would have been 27 years old.
Wow.
And so it's been 20 years since my accident. People, I believe, probably think I'm through it. But when those days come, it is still overwhelming. You don't ever go through a day without thinking of your children, especially. And you just have to learn how to live in the present and enjoy the people that you have around you presently, and also learn how to bring those people that we've lost into our current lives.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that speaks of the awkwardness that some parents have in terms of bringing the past or our children that have passed into the present. But they're always there with us, and you know, and that's faith that we always have that access to our children and our loved ones, and that's what really fills our heart with gratitude. I think is knowing that even though we've lost, we had the privilege of loving, right? How do you feel
Yes,
about that?
for sure. Even though we lost, uh, I've never felt that much immense love in my life, and just the touch and everything that I had missed. This last birthday, I had some new friends that I have not spent a event like that with, and I had one friend that ended up asking me about Benjamin, and it was such a joy to be able to speak about my son in a way that I get to speak about Franklin all the time. And so I was explaining to them how, yes, it is sad, and we all were crying because some of the stories are very touching. But at the same time, it is for me so therapeutic to be able to not hide those two beautiful boys that I had, and to be able to share the love and the joy that we did have together, and that we still have within our hearts. So,
And that's so beautiful, you know, to imagine he'd be 27 and a grown man, and where he would be now. We know he's in a good place, but yes, you know, it's just amazing to have to realize that you have this grown man now as a son.
it does seem weird. It feels like the accident happened just yesterday at sometimes, and then to say 20 years, I've at times, and luckily I have enough uh, friends and family around me that allow me to feel the pain still, or the missing of them. But I would imagine there's quite a few people that would be embarrassed to even bring up the fact that a birthday is occurring. And
Yeah.
even though you don't uh, want to have that pain of missing them, those days don't pass without acknowledging
Yeah,
their presence. So,
absolutely. And you are their legacy. You get to breathe for them, and you get your heart beats for them and with them, and you've been able to share your amazing story with so many people around the world and touch so many people's lives. And through your book and your writing, we feel like we know them, you know, and so blessed to have had that experience of getting to know their cute little talents and traits. And I think it was Ben that always tried to speak whatever language there was.
yeah, we were over in Italy at the time of 9/11, and we talked about how people just didn't understand each other's way of life. And he said, Mom, I'm going to learn all the languages in the world so that we don't have that kind of confusion anymore. He
Wow.
was a very kind, amazing soul that I know he made a difference in this world, even with his friends across seas over in Italy, but also currently when I do get to share his stories, I know he still is making a difference.
Yes. And your other son, Samuel, the younger one of the two, and he
Yeah,
had his special gifts too. Can you tell us a little bit about Samuel?
he was, gosh, he was just one of the most energetic little guys, and he was filled with love. He got a little possessive of his mom. He was only 4 years old, and so he enjoyed me holding him and putting his cheek to mine. He um, he left off the first letter of every word he said because in the beginning of his life he had quite a few ear infections, and so his vocabulary was huge, but he just didn't articulate in the same way that Benjamin had. But he was a character. He would find mischief wherever he could, and he loved life to the fullest. That's for sure.
Oh, such a beautiful, beautiful sharing. And now you have Franklin. Franklin is such a gift to you and John. And when you tell us a little bit about Franklin, what was it like having another child after all that, and what a gift he's been for you?
Well, in the beginning, it was really difficult. I thought for sure God would give me a girl uh, just to make it easier to have a different experience. But I ended up having another little boy, which, as soon as I realized that I could handle it and that it wasn't going to be too much for me to raise another boy, and Franklin is he is very connected to his brothers in the way he has the kindest heart, as both of them had. He loves languages. He's very energetic. He also loves candy, just like Samuel. But he's the epitome, of course, of both of them. But he also is just his own unique self. He last year decided he wanted to get a job, and he was only 13 at the time. He went to a ice cream candy store, which is appropriate for him, and they were these two cute girls that own the business, and he just kept pestering them. Finally, he got all dressed up. He had his resume all done, and he goes there and he gets this first time job, and he now has a second job. I have no idea why that was something that was important to him, but he loves to ride his bike there, and he loves to visit. He said, "Mom, it's so much fun to go and visit with people from different parts of our United States and even the world." And so he just really enjoys the socialization, just like his other two brothers did. But he is definitely his own son. He loves river rafting, mountain biking, and downhill skiing. So he's an
Wow.
active little guy.
Yeah.
Active, not so little. He's 5'8.5". He's going to be huge.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, that truly proves, because so many people, parents who lose a child, um, they have the trepidation of having another child after. And Franklin truly is, like you say, the embodiment of all that was wonderful in your boys, but he's also a rainbow child as well. So he really is a gift.
Brenda, in the beginning, it was very difficult for sure to decide whether we wanted another child or if I wanted a child, but also how we were going to bring that child into the grief that I was experiencing and that I knew I would experience the rest of my life. So what I had learned was never to not let Franklin know about his brothers. So even when he was an infant, I talked about his two brothers. I had pictures of them in the room, of all three of them together. I would talk about how silly they were. And then there was a point in that growing up period for Franklin that he actually had to grieve his brothers. And I don't find that unusual. I've looked it up, and there's a lot of different people out there that have experienced the same challenge that we all go through. You never want to bring sadness into a child's life, but I think that Franklin has been able to develop a more educated way on how to deal with his grief. It's something that has been a part of his life forever, and it's not as sad to talk about the boys anymore, at least with John and Franklin, because I'm able to talk about their silliness, and they'll even bring up stories about them too. So
nice. It's full circle. It's full
Mhm.
circle, and good for you. And so, it's the difficult things in life that give us the character and give us the wherewithal to see the beauty in life. And I think that, every day moving forward, you see that beauty. I just see it in your eyes, and
Yeah.
the kindness of a heart that has lived and loved, lost, learned, and is now a legacy for the life that you've had, moving into the life of the future that you have. And I think that's incredible.
If I could tell anyone, for me, I was so overwhelmed and I really had to figure out how to navigate this new life I was having. For me, what worked was to step back and only make plans for the next half hour to an hour. And eventually I was able to make a plan for the entire day. And then I made lesson plans for the entire week, things that were very easily taken out if I didn't feel okay, if I just wanted to stay in bed and I had dinner plans. It was stuff that I could cancel easily, but that gave me some kind of routine. And I think in the beginning, the routine of trying to eat a little something on time, trying to make yourself get out of bed a little bit at a time, and just also give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. And don't think that this is something you're just going to get over or that you're going to fix. It's something that you're going to learn how to bring into your current life and learn how to live with it and not away from it.
Beautiful, beautiful, wise words from a woman who's well lived her life. And Jill, I want to thank you again for being a part of the Secret Child Life After Loss, writing that invaluable foreword for our book. Just truly inspiring and so heartfelt. And so I'd like to encourage anybody, please go to the secretchildbookseries.com/WOK. And there you're going to see the amazing contributors to the book who are speaking on this series with me and with you, sharing their special inspiration and wisdom. I think we can all benefit from this. I mean, the topic is difficult, but I mean, the truth and the beauty and light that shines through from each of the contributors is invaluable. And so there you're going to see the speakers, the contributors, and also their special gifts. And Jill, we have a special interview hooked up video where you share some more of your wonderful wisdom and experiences from your heart. And and the beauty and power of writing is so many people say they want to write their story, but truth is only 8% of those that ever decide they want to do that ever do it. And for us to be best-selling contributors is really a pinnacle in all of our lives. And so from go visit that gift page, access all the wonderful interviews and audios and healings that there are there. And you can purchase the book as well if you so wish. And from all of us in the Secret Child Life After Loss, this is Brenda Pierce, and I have Jill Hill, Kraft, Thompson here. And we're filled with gratitude and so much kindness for each and every one of you. Do you have any last words you'd like to share, Jill?
Don't give up. I just want people to realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you can find happiness again. It's just a different way of looking at it.
Wonderful. So from the bottom of all our hearts, enjoy the rest of the summit And may you always be inspired and know that your words really do have magic and can really help others wherever you are, whenever you write. Bye-bye. Bye for now.
Bye.